All right, Impact Wrestling presents Bound for Glory. It is sold out at the Melrose Ballroom in New York City. The only way to catch it now is live on pay-per-view or on the Fight app. And one of the epic showdowns that we're going to see is for the Impact World Championship. The champion, Austin Aries, takes on our guest right now. He is Johnny Impact. What's going on, Johnny? How you doing?
Doing great. Johnny Podcast here. Ready to take Austin Aries to Slamtown on Sunday.
Yeah, Johnny Podcast joining us right now here for High Spot Podcast and BodySlams.net. Any butterflies? Is this just regular ho-hum going into New York on the probably biggest stage for Impact Wrestling this Sunday?
Oh, yeah, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a firm believer that if you don't get nervous for something, it means you don't really care about it. I get nervous every time I wrestle still. And, yeah, I got butterflies for Bound for Glory. This is what could be my final shot at the Impact World Championship if I don't deliver. And more importantly, I feel like this match has gone from being about the title to becoming somewhat personal based on a lot of the stuff that Aries is tweeting and putting out there.
Obviously, when it gets personal, it's just more juice for the fan. What can they expect in your match between yourself and Austin Aries this Sunday? What can the fan that's going to make the investment and watch and tune into their first Impact wrestling event, what can they expect from this matchup on your part?
Man, for the fans going to invest in their first Impact pay-per-view?
Yeah.
What the hell have you been doing? You call yourself a wrestling fan? Damn it, get your credit card out. This match, I feel like, is two of the very best wrestlers in the world. Aside from Austin's happy Twitter fingers, he's the Impact champion for a reason. He's a talented guy. He's kept the championship for a long time. He's even successfully defended it against me. And that's not easy. He's got a lot of momentum against him, though, because I have a lot of momentum with me right now. I don't feel like I've ever been in a better place, like physically, mentally. And it really, I put a lot of this pressure on myself, but it feels like this is a make or break it moment in my wrestling career. Like a do or die. So I'm planning on either leaving in a stretcher or leaving with the championship belt. I'm not going to save anything or hold anything back at Bound for Glory. Austin Aries found a way to motivate me to want to whoop his ass in a way that I haven't felt in a long time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure someone screencast the crap that he twat on Twitter a few days ago.
Yeah, obviously.
I think that's why you should watch this. I don't know if they're going to replay it.
Obviously, it is personal, and when you prepare for, like, when you say it's do or die, right, and you come into this, your preparation, do you come in a little bit earlier? Do you get settled in? What's your kind of preparation for a big match like this for you?
I wouldn't say that I could possibly have trained any harder, or I started training any harder since Austin started taking business into his own hands and posting crap on social, because I approach every big match the same. A couple of weeks out, I start hitting 2-a-days. I don't really have an off season. That's one of the things about wrestling. There is no off season. But the difference in the approach is less about the physical training and more about the state of mind.
And of course, obviously state of mind too. And so obviously you're in town right now, and you've had the viewing party for the Survivor viewing party at McHale's pub. Talk about that. Does that distract you a little bit from from Sunday? Does that get a chance to clear your head when you got the fans watching their Survivor with you?
Yeah, that's a nice little break. But I wouldn't say it's like something like this really distracts me. The main focus of my life right now is Bound for Glory, and I've got other stuff going on. I'm sure Austin does too. Searching Yelp constantly to figure out which weekend joint to eat in, and what to write in his food blog or whatever. Those little breaks sometimes are, for me, helpful, because I at times can get a one-track mind and get fixated on something, and usually when that happens for me, it's a good thing, because the thing that I'm fixated on, I usually get. And right now, that's the championship.
Now, not only are you focused, but somebody else is focused. Your guys like tunnel vision here, as Taya Valkyrie has a chance to walk away with gold as well as she takes on Tessa Blanchard. You both could walk away with, championships that night, and probably the biggest night for Impact Wrestling to date. Have you thought about that? And man, you guys would probably be wrestling's newest power couple. You know.
Win or not, I'd say we're a power couple for sure. But yes, I mean, clearly thought has crossed our minds that this would be the first time in the history of the business that newlyweds have the opportunity to both win major championships of a major wrestling organization on the same night. That thought has crossed my mind.
And now, so do you guys? For example, when you're training for this, will she give you some suggestions? Will you give her some suggestions? Because you've got Austin Aries right now, who is on a hot streak. You've got Tessa Blanchard, who, no pun intended, has made a huge impact since she's been, the Knockouts champion, and since she's been there. So, like, do you guys give each other advice, critiques, or is it just, I'm tunnel vision on Austin and you have tunnel vision on Tessa?
Yeah, of course. Like we talk about stuff, we talk about styles, but I think the main thing that is nice about both of these shots being on the same night is we're both hitting the gym twice a day. You know what I mean? We're both doing our thing, and it's not to say necessarily that we're going to go work out together, but Ty likes to spend a lot of time at the gym, and so do I. And because our destination is bound for glory. Both of our journeys are synced up,
Yeah, what a way for that journey, to come to an amazing, not finish, but maybe like to both walk away with championships would be amazing for both your careers, and it'd be something, be in the history books to do that, to be an amazing power couple.
It'd be one of the best moments of my life. It would be a really cool thing.
And not to mention, too, the backdrop, New York City. This could be, in California, this could be in Texas, this could be in Toronto, but or Chicago, but there's something special about New York City. Is that also important to you, that New York City is where Bound for Glory is this year?
I can't imagine a better place for it. But to be honest, the location of the significance of New York, it means something because of the history. It means something because of all the great shows that I watched growing up that took place in New York. But whatever city we were in, I would be just unbound for glory.
We are talking to Johnny Impact, who has a huge match coming up this Sunday against Austin Aries for the Impact World Championship. Slammiversary was very important for Impact Wrestling, as a lot of people. I really couldn't find anybody critique it at all. It seems like everyone gave their 100%. It seems like it was a flawless show, and even the worst critic out there. And you guys have built some momentum. Do you think Impact Wrestling has kind of maybe turned that corner from where it had that kind of that bad kind of that bad hype, kind of like the people talking negatively about it? Do you think right now everyone on the roster and everybody has kind of like maybe turned that chapter and turned the corner, and now the future is even brighter for Impact?
Well, that's a softball question. Yes, I agree. Yeah, there's certainly a negative connotation associated with Impact for a while. But, you said Slammiversary was acclaimed. I was stoked to come back to be a part of that show because it was hot fire. Since then, and before then even, this roster's been busting its ass. And I feel like the response that we're getting now has been earned. And people see how talented the roster is and how hard we're working. And it's pretty cool to see the reactions that we're getting.
Now, obviously, the layup question here would be another one where I would ask you, what other match are you looking forward to? I know you're focused on this match with Austin Aries. It means the world to you here. But obviously, you're going to have invested interest with Ty is trying to challenge Tessa Blanchard. Any other match here that you're looking forward to seeing?
A big fan of the Lucha Brothers in Cage. Them three versus OVE, fascinating. It's funny to think of how different Cage, Phoenix, and Pentagon are, but at the same time, how similar they are. And Ovi's one of the greatest trios in wrestling, maybe wrestling history, but I mean, those guys came up together and they got each other's backs. So that's an infinitely interesting match. Also, I'll throw in there Eddie and Kenny versus Moose. Moose Money.
Yeah. Moose. Another match that's personal too, though, right? And really gotten personal.
Yeah, it's gotten beyond personal. Moose kind of shocked me, man. Like, he was like one of the nicest guys when I came to Impact, and to see like what he's doing and saying now is surprising. It made me really interested in that match.
I know, right? What happened to him, man? I mean, he came close to defeating Austin Aries at Slammiversary. Didn't, unfortunately didn't get the job done. And now he's kind of had like a change of, maybe another kind of clarity. But yeah, very shocking to see the direction that Moose has gone into.
Agreed.
And obviously you mentioned, Brian Cage, you mentioned Sami Callihan, and I know, it's maybe bad luck to look ahead, but, let's look ahead here for just a minute. You're going to be on the Chris Jericho cruise, and you've got teammates in the matchup you were talking about, Sami Callihan, Brian Cage, as well as LAX, and you're going to be taking on, if not one of the most popular factions right now in wrestling, in the Bullet Club. I know right now it's tunnel vision, it's Austin Aries, but when you think of that and you'd be headlining the cruise, it's going to be one of the top matches there. How are you guys going to get along? How are you guys going to gel? There's a lot of egos there in that match.
That's true. I hope that's a big boat, because I don't know if it's going to be big enough for all that ego. I'm looking forward to the Jericho cruise. It's going to be, man, like, aside from the match, like to be able to be there and chop it up with Chris and Dallas Page and all the Ring of Honor guys, the Impact guys that are going to be there. It's going to be a really good time. That match, though, specifically, Brian Cage, myself, Sami Callihan, LAX versus the Ring of Honor Bullet Club is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I don't know how we're going to get along, because you're right. Everyone in that match is an alpha on our side. And the Bullet Club has been used to, I don't know, working together far more than Team Impact has. So, as they say, it'll be interesting to see how the cookie crumbles.
It's going to be some major bragging rights, though, so maybe that's what you guys can maybe be like, listen, man, doing this for Impact, maybe just put it as a moment of solidarity, maybe. But yeah, a lot of egos. Who's going to claim that key pin in that matchup? It's going to be interesting to see what happens, though. Chris Jericho, of course, is running it. It's amazing what he's doing right now. Doing the cruise, reinventing himself every single time in New Japan, and just everything that he does. You wonder when he sleeps. But listen, we saw him. We never thought he'd be at All In to promote the cruise, but when he's got to promote the cruise, he's got to promote the cruise. How would it feel for the locker room and yourself if, let's say, Chris Jericho were to make an impact this Sunday night?
Jericho certainly got a reputation for doing that kind of thing. If I think if he did, it'd be great. Chris has a lot of street cred, so to speak. Anywhere he goes, a lot of eyeballs follow him. So if he made an impact on Sunday, I think the locker room would be stoked. I think the fans would be stoked.
And
and I'm not. I don't know if that. I don't think that's happening, but since you brought it up, sure, I'll go along with it.
Well, I'm just saying because, Chris Jericho, where you least expect him to be, he'll be there, and obviously when you've got a cruise to promote within the next few weeks, you'll show up in places where you don't think you're going to ever end up being. So you never know. Chris Jericho is a businessman first and foremost, But that would be great, man. See you and Chris Jericho maybe fighting for that Impact Championship. Again, I'm not trying to get ahead of you. I'm not trying to put the strap on you right now, but I'm saying that would be something that would definitely get the fans talking about Impact Wrestling.
Chris and I have had dozens of good matches all over the world for the last, I think I wrestled him for the first time in 2004. And if you ask him, the first time I got in the ring with him, I busted him open, gave him maybe 9 stitches over his eye. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's a funny story for another time.
Yeah.
But it would be really cool to get in the ring with Chris again, yeah.
listen, you obviously, do a lot of things too. Wrestling is your passion, but you're also, doing movies. The acting is amazing. I love Boone the Bounty Hunter. Just talk about that though, in the aspects of like what eventually down the road do you want to do? How much longer do you see yourself wanting to do wrestling and maybe transition to acting, maybe a little bit, more than wrestling?
I don't see it as much of a transition. Maybe I did at one point, but I don't think that's a thing anymore. Like transitioning from wrestling to acting. Both wrestling and film are different kinds of storytelling, and wrestling is the most fun.
Yeah.
It's like what you do is out there live. It happens. It's done. You get instant feedback. You get adrenaline from people. You feel electricity, and it's almost incomparable. You can't compare it to anything else. With acting and entertainment, it's a more cerebral type of fun. I really enjoy writing. I enjoy acting. I enjoy the different kinds of stories that you can tell with that medium. Because with filmmaking, and writing in general, anything like that, you can tell a comedy story. You can tell a drama. You can basically do whatever you want. And wrestling at its best, you can do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
But there's just a broader variety of types of stories that you can tell outside of it.
Now, obviously, again, too, I'll tell you a funny story, Johnny, real quick. You were at a WrestlePro event a while back, and my interaction with you was we came up to you and we're like, wanted to do a interview, and of course you're a busy man, and you were nice and kind enough to give us a copy of Boone the Bounty Hunter. And I just want to tell you, I want to thank you. And you were like, here, take it. Let me know what you think. So this is my opportunity to tell you that it was awesome, and thank you. Thanks.
Good. And I'm not sure if I told you this at the time, but usually I say, like, if you liked it, let me know what you think, and if you didn't like it, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what you said. Yeah, you said, let me know what you think, and I was able to watch it, and now I had the chance to talk to you and tell you in person that it was awesome. It was very memorable from that night, man. Just having you be like, here, take the seat, let me know what you think. It was, you didn't have to, but you did, so that was great, though. And then my final question is, of course, you had the Survivor viewing party. You really can't talk too much about it because it's ongoing, but the only thing I have to ask you is, what is it, in your experience, did you learn about yourself that you didn't think in having to deal with those circumstances, that atmosphere? Just what is it that maybe you learned about yourself that you didn't know when you were dealing on that TV show?
A couple of things. The one that I'll share now. One, first is humans are capable of a lot more than people think. Freezing, starving, not eating and not sleeping for a couple of days. Like, not only did I think I might not be able to do that, I certainly thought that probably a lot of other people on the island weren't going to be able to do that either. But everybody did. Like, there's no fire, there's no food for the first couple days, and everyone made it. Two, all the social media and all the phones and your emails and your Twitter accounts and Instagrams ultimately mean a lot less than your inner circle, your friends and family. And when you go out for the show, you don't get to take a phone. You're unplugged basically for 2 months. The longest I've been without a phone since I got one. And I came back. That was one of the epiphanies I brought with me.
Is that the hardest thing you've done?
No. I mean, okay. It's hard in its own right, but man, life is hard. It's the hardest thing I've done.
So, Austin Aries is in for it, man, because we're talking about a guy that's had to, be on that show, had to deal with the elements and all that stuff, lack of food, communication, just, with the cast and stuff. So, I'm telling you, man, Austin Aries might not know what he's getting himself into. I'll tell you that, anybody to be on Survivor on that show, it's got to have that, you got to have that guts, man, to do that show. And, kudos to you, but I don't think Austin Aries knows what he's getting himself into.
No, yeah, he opened up Pandora's box. He's in trouble.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, appreciate your time. And, again, best of luck at Bound for Glory.
Thanks again, bro. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Take care.